Hello, pharmacy people. Dr. Lisa Fost here, and we are talking about employees today. And employees, you love them. Sometimes you hate them. Let's be honest. You love them, and you can't run your pharmacy without them. And one of the things that we've been talking a lot about lately here at Diversify is helping pharmacy owners how to hire better and how to retain better employees. And a lot of that comes with just smooth admin process, being able to offer benefits to your employees, being able to offer tracking vacations and all those kinds of things. And so I have two guests with me today. We've got double the pleasure of the ladies from over at Insperity, and we're going to be talking about HR admin services. I know how much of a headache that is. I know I used to control and take care of all of my employee stuff before I started outsourcing that. So we've got to have you working at the top of your license and growing and innovating for your pharmacy. And I definitely think in managing your employees and all of the HR stuff that comes with employees is one of those things that you can be handing off to wonderful people like the people over at Insperity. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited for pharmacies to kind of hear about how you can make their life easier, which we're all, I think, for. So go ahead and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Insperity.
I can go first. So my name is Laura Klecker. I'm a business performance advisor here at Insperity. I've been here for a few years now. And really, Insperity is here to really service the small business owners in the community, including pharmacies. I have 12 plus years experience in pharmaceuticals, so supporting pharmacies and getting those drugs ready for y'all to hand off to your patients. But in our capacity, we really believe that small businesses are the foundation of our communities, and whatever we can do to be supporting them and their employees through HR support, streamlining operations, efficiencies, helping you really take care of your people through better benefits and training and development, and really helping you reduce a lot of your risk that you take on when you become an employer. We're here to support you in that process with the people side of your business.
Awesome.
And hi, I'm Catherine Burrow. I am a pharmacy technician, actually. I was in pharmacy for 10 years, and I worked for a company that used Insperity, and he decided to retire and sold the business, so I had to find something else. So I've been with Insperity now almost 4 years, so I really understand the struggles that pharmacies go through, and I have a different side of, other business performance advisors, because I've seen it on the other side of how much it really did make my life easier, because I managed production and the customer service techs and data entry. So it's a lot. And I know, like Laura said, pharmacies are the heart of the community, right? I mean, you're employing people, so you're helping support the community that way, but then you also are caring for all of your patients while combating PBMs and DIR fees and negative reimbursements, like all of those things that you're having to focus on to try and keep, your revenues up. And what Insperity can really help you do is streamline all of those things that come with employees, like you were saying, timekeeping, training, keeping up with licenses. When your license expires, I know that was such a big issue before I got Insperity, and I was able to pull reports on that every month. And anything that can make you be able to focus on your patients and your business is what we're trying to do. We provide you a whole HR team, and these are dedicated people. And for me, because we had been with other HR companies before Insperity, it made a big difference, because no one likes to call a 1-800 number and explain yourself time over time because the issue hasn't been resolved. With Insperity, you get real people on the phone. You have your assigned person, you have assigned payroll person, assigned HR person, assigned benefit person, and that really makes things easier because we get to know your business and you get to know us. So we really know, the level. They always say, frustration comes out of unmet expectations, right? So with Insperity, we really set that up and build that relationship with you because we work for you. We're your HR team. And I really think that, just from my experience, that it was just a game changer, and people were happier. I didn't have techs crying in the parking lot anymore. I mean, we had training, we had a performance specialist is one of the people you get. And I had a lot of I had 50 people under me, and it was hard to do the training I wanted to do with my people. And they were able to come in and we assigned training. And then my performance specialist even sat next to my techs that were on the phone, helping them with customer service, de-escalating calls, because we know we want to send the medications out, right? Because we don't make money unless they go out the door. So, it's frustrating sometimes when you're stuck between a doctor's PA and the insurance company and all of those things. So it really helped my people become better, as well as, be happier, because happy employees are the ones that stay.
Absolutely. That is a big part of retention is satisfaction. I mean, just that innate satisfaction with the day-to-day grind, the more you can eliminate that. You touched on so many things there. And one of them on the licenses, I usually when you talk to pharmacy owners, you're like, oh, I don't need help managing licenses. Well, I have a story of one of my good friends who took over a pharmacy from her parents, and in doing kind of some initial audits and stuff, they realized that all of the technicians' license had lapsed and nobody noticed. Oh. And, it was obviously midst of COVID, lots of distractions, lots of things, balls were dropped. That is one ball you do not want to drop, is your right. License. And so, I mean, they were able to resolve it. But how scary. I mean, she was frantic for days, and I put her in touch with some highfalutin lawyers because, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but, it's keeping track of all of those little minute details. And if you're compounding, there's training you need to track. And, you touched on training, and it's not necessarily that you guys are going to, I mentioned compounding, come in and train in compounding tech, but you guys are keeping track of that admin side of those kinds of things. And, pharmacy owners, if you have just one technician or one employee, you're probably thinking like, why would I outsource this? Like, this is kind of easy. Yeah, it is kind of easy until you get, a few employees, and all of a sudden you're getting schedule requests and you're getting child support, demands. And I know that was one of my things when I was an employer. When we got to about 30, 40 employees, my life just became burdened with HR problems. Was getting notices of child support, getting notices of back taxes, getting notices of garnishments, getting, it's like all these things. It was like, I swear every day in the mail, it was something else from the EDD department, that I had to do for my employees. And, it's like, could I do it? Yeah, I could do it. And anytime you outsource, there's always a cost benefit analysis I think pharmacy owners should be doing. It's like, okay, your services aren't free. They're not expensive, but they're not free. So it's going to cost me, but how much time is it going to save me? Because let me tell you, pharmacy owners, your time is the most valuable working on your business and trying to figure out innovative ways in order to grow your revenue, not doing administration tasks for your employees. Like there, I said it, like you're going to get your ROI for outsourcing these kinds of things is going to be huge. And so I would definitely recommend looking into that and figuring out how much time do you really spend on HR things and on those kinds of things that you could be doing something else. It's an opportunity cost, that old, 12th grade economics class of opportunity cost is essentially what it is. So, if you ladies could describe, you guys work with a lot of pharmacies. Actually, one of your clients is like a mile from me where I'm at now, but, kind of break it down. What are those tasks that you're removing from that pharmacy owner, or even that pharmacy manager? A lot of times pharmacy owners have their pharmacist be the pharmacy manager. And are you really want to pay your pharmacist for doing HR tasks? Like that's probably not the best use of their dollars either. But you ladies can kind of just explain on a, payroll basis, because we're calling in hours every 2 weeks or something like that. What burden is released from the internal pharmacy staff and is really transferred to you guys on that recurring basis?
Well, like you said, the payroll, the time clocks are all in there. We build all of that in. Your employees have access to our call center, which is open, I believe, 7 to 7 every day. So if they get logged out, I mean, those little things that happen that take time out of your day, they're locked themselves out. They're going to call our contact center. We're going to reset their password for them. it's those types of things, benefit questions, or, how do I access my, my paycheck? I'm trying to buy a car or a house or whatever. All of that is like included in our system. We even have an app, so they can log on and have it directly on their phone, which is always nice, because you don't need to be taking time out of your day when you should be filling scripts, so, and taking care of your patients. So, a lot of those things we handle for you.
A lot of it is simplification of what you're doing now and streamlining that. We're going to put in the technology infrastructure, a base where everything is going to run when it comes to HR. So you're not going to different sites or different logons. You have one logon. That's your employee side, that's your admin side. Everything's going to run through there. So it makes it really easy to access information, makes it easy for your employees, your team to get pay stubs if they're applying for a home loan, to change a W-4, W-2 to access those, to know their benefits. I mean, we even on our app have your health insurance card. So if one of your team members goes to the doctor and maybe they're out of town and something happens and they don't have their health insurance card, they can just pull it up on their phone. Or if you have a busy day, you just need to approve payroll, just pull up in the app, boop, you're done. So really for that small business owner who's wearing multiple hats, who's growing their team, whose sole focus is serving those patients and making sure they're getting the best quality care. And in pharmacy, you don't want to make a mistake because that can be a very big mistake. So, when you have someone standing by your side, making that, just simplifying that for you on the payroll side. And another thing that comes in with it is the risk mitigation of it. You don't know your risk until something happens, and then it's a little too late. And you may be looking at a penalty or a fine or, unfortunately, maybe even a lawsuit. And keeping up with all the changing employment laws, regulations, compliance is coming down the pipeline. Maybe Congress just signed a new law in, and you don't really have the time to go in there and figure out what that is. We're going to do that for you. We're going to send you an alert, and we're going to be proactive in ensuring that you understand what changes are in place. And we're going to make those changes in our system so that it's them being taken care of for you, whether it's a tax issue or whatever it is. So I think there's a lot of peace of mind that comes with working with someone like Insperity, that you're not having to. I've talked to business owners, like, I just Google employment law. Google isn't the best HR partner when it comes to assessing your risk. So, and again, it's not something that sometimes pops up for people until it happens and that penalty comes down the line. And like you mentioned, Lisa, they didn't realize all the employees had missed their licenses had expired. So these are the things that we want to make sure aren't falling through the cracks when it comes to your HR. And one other thing else, I'm sorry, Catherine, please.
It's okay. I have another little story about that too. Is one of the people that get assigned to your company is a safety consultant. Well, we had an OSHA claim in our pharmacy, and Insperity came in and took over and held our hand through that. So it was unfounded, but the safety consultant came out, and I know a lot of your audience here may have compounding, things that have hazardous workplace. Insperity will help you with that. They're going to help you write the policies for that as well, handbooks, things like that. We handle all of those things, and onboarding. So think about, how does your onboarding look today? That's your first impression of a new employee. And we were talking about retention. First impressions make a difference. And so if they can go on a website and fill out all of their new hire paperwork, even do their HIPAA training that Insperity will provide, there's other safety training. So if you want something more than HIPAA, I mean, we have thousands of training. So, all of that can be done prior to their start date. And then all you have to do when they come in is verify their I-9s. It's very, very simple. All you got to do is see it, type in 2 bits of data in our system, and they're good to go. They're good to sign in and start training and onboarding them in a way that shows your culture, because everybody wants to have their culture by design, not by default. So, we want to make sure that we have a very streamlined process for that. And unfortunately too, employees will exit. We handle that for you. We handle the workforce commissions. We handle the COBRA administration, all of those things. Like you said, you can do yourself, but why not let somebody who's an expert in doing it do that for you?
Yeah, I think the compliance part that you both have talked about is really important. You know, I first started operating my first pharmacy out of California, which is just regulation filled. And there was seemed to be always something, you know, overtime laws are changing. There's always new ones being proposed and different kinds of things like that. And so I think it's really important that you have somebody looking out for you based on your specific state. And, you know, I love Googling just like the next person, but you're right. Google is probably not your best HR partner when it comes to protecting yourself and your business, because you're creating an asset. You know, we're here at Diversify, we're trying to make that asset even more valuable. But, you know, really taking care of your employees, being able to attract and hire and having that streamlined process, it really puts your best foot forward of your, you know, your professionalism, how much you care about those employees and how much you're willing to invest in them. Like I think there's something to be said there of how much you put into that relationship with the employee as the owner is kind of what the employee is willing to give back. You know, if you're putting in a big effort, I think it's more likely that those same employees are going to give back a bigger effort as well. And just knowing that, you don't have to know it all. You know, it's hard enough having to know all your pharmacy stuff, having to know all your business stuff, KPI, cash flow, working capital. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to live inside that pharmacy owner's head, and just being able to rent that space out to somebody else for all of your HR matters, I think is a big thing. So you guys provide a lot of services, training, compliance. You mentioned OSHA, you know, people doing a lot of CLIA waived tests now and point of care testing. There's OSHA training that you have to do for that. I talked to a lot of pharmacies that aren't realize, yes, you need a CLIA waiver, but if you're exposed to any bodily fluids or blood, you need to take the OSHA bloodborne pathogen training and that kind of stuff. And so I think that's really where having a partner like you guys to come in and take that burden off those pharmacies. So if somebody's listening to this and it's like, hey, I would like to get some of my time back, I would like to know that my employees are taken care of, you know, how can they best get in touch with you guys and just learn more about what does, you know, using somebody for your human resource services, like what does that even look like? And just, you know, get them to know if it's a fit or not.
And email is probably the best way to reach out at first. It's our names. It's Catherine.Burrow. You can see it underneath my picture right here at Insperity.com. My phone number is 214-641-8953. And I'm always available. So you can call. I know a lot of times it's early in the morning or it's late in the evening, you know, after the pharmacy is closed, things like that. So feel free to reach out. If I'm available, I will answer. And Laura, do you want to give yours?
Of course. So you can contact me via email as well. Laura.Klecker, so Laura.Kleckar@Insperity.com. My business cell is at 214-282-4476. So like Catherine said, if you have any questions, you want to chat a little bit, reach out. We always like to sit down, your 20, 30 minutes, get to know you a little bit better, get to know your unique needs and challenges and what you see the future of your pharmacy looking like. And we really want to understand your unique business and what that looks like and have those discussions with you. And then from there, determine if it makes sense to move forward with Insperity. So we're here to support small businesses however we can, whether it's through our HR services or there are other ways that we could be supporting you. We work with a lot of different industries, so we could be sending referrals and resources if you're looking for some different connections as well. So I think it's always worth a conversation. The more we can understand about you and your business, the better we can support you, whether it's providing, like I said, connections, referrals, or if it looks like it's a good fit to move forward and looking at our services.
And you guys service pharmacies all over, right? All 50 states,
all
like
50 states.
There's no restrictions. I know you mentioned you have a client near me, but it's not just a Texas thing. You just happen to have one here, one of our local independent pharmacies. So thank you so much for sharing this. I know it's there's a whole lot more detail that we can get into on this, but I think it's just a very worthy topic as pharmacies are, I mean, we're in a battle right now between inflation and DIR fees and the low profits and the audits and all the things that are happening. You know, we need to free up some of our space, not only our head space, but the physical time and things that we're doing. And I think HR is the perfect thing to be able to offload, because frankly, we're not HR experts, and that's okay. We can go find somebody who is. So I think this is a good move for a lot of pharmacies. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for, bringing me into the world of Insperity and educating me as well. So it's been a great journey for me as well. So we will post all your guys' contact information in the show notes so that everybody has it. And I look forward to talking to you ladies again in the future.
Thank you so much, Lisa. We appreciate your time.
We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.